All right, here we are. Got a young puppy here, 10 weeks old, golden puppy. And we're just doing some day training here for one of our good friends. And so, first and foremost, I'm really just focusing on potty training, crate training, getting some structure in, working on some early separation, right? All of those things are done simultaneously while using your crate, right? So we're crate training using the potty. We're potty training using the crate, applying to the structure using crate, working on separation using the crate. And so this is going to be my first session with her here. And I'm really just going to be doing a little bit of food luring, getting her maybe to follow the leash, some of the same stuff that we show with some of the older dogs. I also want to be doing some hand feeding here. So she gets a mixture of kibble and some fresh food. So with the kibble, I'm going to be hand feeding her meals. So we can start to work on some of that mouthiness, right? Puppies like mouth, especially labs or golden retrievers, right? They were bred to retrieve things, meaning they were bred to put things in their mouth, right? So dogs and puppies are mouthy by nature. And so you have one that's maybe genetically predisposed to be a little bit more mouthy by nature because they're supposed to put things in their mouth, right? So I want to start working on her taking food correctly from the hand. So we're going to be doing that also. So right now, just got some treats, got her on a simple rope lead here. Okay, I'm really just evaluating how she takes food from the hand. Is she gentle? Does she try to snatch the food? Put pressure on my hand with her teeth. Okay, so far she's pretty gentle. Okay, so maybe first things first here is after me sort of evaluating again how she takes food, I'm gonna get the treat. I'm gonna close my fist. I'm gonna present it to her. And when she licks, I'm gonna open the hand and give her the treat. Okay, so what we're teaching here is licking is how she gets the treat, all right? So mouthing, which is putting teeth on your hand. So if she puts teeth on your hand or paws the hand or just muzzles it in any way, that doesn't get the treat, but licking the hand gets the treat. So we're kind of coming from a place of, hey, being gentle with our hand, her being gentle, is the key to unlocking the food. Okay, so again, food, treat in hand, close fist, present it. The moment she licks, open the hand, give her the treat. Okay, so this is just simple. It really is decision making, really, okay, because she has to try a few different things until basically she gives me what I want. Obviously, there's only one thing I want right here, which is licking, right? So if after just a couple of reps here, she's starting to pick it up, right? Oh, licking, boom, gets me the food. Licking, boom, gets me the food, right? So you're kind of letting them decide. Yes, good. Good. So notice I'm not really saying anything, right? There isn't any or no if she's not doing it correctly. Just let the food, the reward, do all of the talking, okay? Yeah, yay. So look, sometimes with your puppies here, they can be a bit more rambunctious, jumping around, really pawing at you. This is also why I like to have them on the lead, so we can do a little bit of controlling there if we need to. Okay, so let's say she's really jumping all over. I'm gonna use the food to sort of keep her off of me, okay, but I can do a little bit of controlling if I need to. And again, having her on the lead keeps her with me, right? So I like to do this on the lead, and it's also a good introduction of your leash or lead if your puppy's 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old, 10 weeks old. Okay, maybe they haven't had a collar on them before, they haven't had a lead on them before. So putting it on right now while you are distracting them with the food work is a good way to introduce the leash. Because sometimes, very first time you put the leash on, put a collar on, they freak out, right? They don't know how to handle it. They've never felt that pressure on their neck before, okay? So far this is working out fine, right? Been presenting, she's licking, I'm giving her the treat. One other thing I might do here is just start touching her. Okay, so doing a little bit of body handling. Okay, so maybe what we can do here is just distract with the food here while we touch her paws. Okay. Good. So we want to do a lot of body handling at this young age, right? Want to get them used to being touched, being handled. You want to touch the ears. Okay. So, we'll touch ears, we'll give a treat. And you want to be able to lift the lips, touch the gums, touch the teeth. Okay. So get them used to that. So do that. Give a treat. Go back to the front paws here. I like to kind of spread the toes a little bit, get in between the pads, and then reward, right? We're gonna do the same with the tail. Okay, so touch the tail, and then give reward. Good. So we're not really having too much mouthiness here, okay? Meaning I'm coming over, maybe here is where we might get the most mouthiness on the rear paw here, okay? Good, yes. So again, you have a couple of different options here. Right now, I'm just trying to come in with the food to distract her, get her used to being touched with the food. Look, sometimes the food doesn't work. Maybe your puppy's so feisty, okay? They're really feisty, they're really bitey, really mouthy. That's where I like to come in with the leash also to do some of that controlling there. So I'm trying to do my best with distracting them with the food, but sometimes again, the food doesn't work, okay? One of the things that I'm also paying attention to here when I am touching her back paw or touching her paws in general, her response to me touching her paw here is going to be it's going to be an early indicator of her character. Okay, so a good way to evaluate character with a young puppy. So let's say you're going to see 8-week-old puppies, and you're trying to see which one you want, right? I'm going to go off of character. Okay, so I guess first and foremost, you might want to go off of gender, male or female. Okay, but then you want to look for character, right? So do you want a more mellow dog? Do you want a little bit more of a passive dog, or do you want something that's a bit more feisty? Do you want something with a bit more drive? These things are very important. I think a lot of the times we're not a lot of the time, okay, 99% of the time, nobody is evaluating character on a dog that they're trying to get. They're just going off after breed, okay? So, and then what happens is they might get a character in that breed that might be too strong for them to handle. They don't have experience with a dog with high drive, or wants to control every other dog, or is just maybe controlling by nature. So they're going to start to control the kids around the house. They're going to tell you, hey, don't put pressure on me, don't touch me. This has to do with the dog's character. So part of it could be nurture also. So here's where we're talking about the difference between nature and nurture. So I'm coming from a place right now of how do we evaluate nature, okay? So what you're going to do with that, so you're looking at all the puppies. They're 8 weeks old. You're gonna get the back paw. You're gonna spread the toes. You're gonna put a little bit of pressure between the toes, okay? And what you're looking for is how does the puppy respond to you putting slight pressure on their paw, okay? So I've already obviously touched your paw a little bit here and there, right? So this is a little bit of a different exercise here, okay? So look, I'm applying some pressure, and there's slight mouthiness, very slight, okay? Very slight mouthiness. So, but she also sort of dealt with it. It wasn't too crazy. There wasn't a freak out. She wasn't really trying to bite me, okay? So what I'm trying to evaluate again is at this young age, how does she respond to pressure on her? All right, so there's a few different responses that will happen. So the first one is they don't do anything. They just, you're here, you're applying some pressure between the toes, and they don't do anything, okay? They just deal with it, all right? Right now her focus is over here on honey, okay? So she is sort of dealing with it, but you can see, look, she goes and does a little bit more mouthing, okay? So it's gentle mouthing though, okay? So that's the first response, is they don't do anything. Second response is they mouth you. They are telling you, don't put pressure on me, okay? So that's what you're trying to see. Are they willing to assert themselves at a young age when pressure is applied? You're evaluating the puppy's assertion level, okay? So when pressure is being applied, how do they tell you, stop putting pressure on me? Okay, so she's doing slight mouthing, right? So the third option is gonna be they lick your hand. So you're applying pressure and they lick your hand to maybe again say, please don't put pressure on me. Okay, so you have, first one is they just deal with it, no response. Second one is they mouth you. Third one is they lick you. So if my dog is willing to mouth me with pressure, put teeth on me, they're willing to assert themselves at a young age. So maybe a bit more of a stronger character, okay? If they're willing to lick you, okay, or just let it happen and have no real response, maybe a bit more of a passive character, okay? So these things are very important when you want to pick your puppy, because you want to go more off of character, all right? If you are a bit more of a passive person, okay, that doesn't want to, implement so many rules or have to correct your dog later, look, maybe a passive dog is more suitable, okay? I still don't think that that's beneficial though, right? Because I think every dog is going to need these things regardless of their character, but maybe some are gonna need more rules than others, right? And so just because we have a golden here that we think should be a very sweet-natured, good-tempered dog, doesn't mean that you can't have one that's assertive or controlling, because that's genetics there, right? So that would be how I would evaluate which puppy I want to get. Okay, maybe also bringing a ball or bringing a squeaky toy and seeing how they respond to the toy. So I want to see, how do they respond to pressure, and then how do they respond to things moving, things squeaking, right? Because you're going to have one that's evaluating their level of control that they want to apply, and maybe the other one is, how much drive they have, how much do they want to chase and catch things. Okay, so again, if you're an older person, and maybe you're on the smaller side, you might not want, you might not want Dia. You might not want, 70-pound pit bull that has high drive and wants to go after things, right? You're gonna need to do a lot of leash work, a lot of impulse control, a lot of patience, a lot of self-control work to sort of override the genetics in the dog, okay? So I just wanted to point out some of the first things I'm looking at and evaluating with the puppy, and some of the first exercises that I'm working on, right? So we're doing the hand feeding here. We're gonna be doing the body handling. You have a little bit of a temperament test. Next session, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more luring, maybe doing some puppy sits and puppy downs and things like that to teach. But really, again, I'm really just focused on her potty training right now. She's doing pretty good with the potty training. She will whine or bark. It's really more of a bark when she needs to come out. She is whining here and there. So what I'm doing for the whining, okay, contingent on I've already taken her out, she's pooped, she's peed, she's good to go. She's just whining in the crate. Once it starts to really escalate and she starts howling, I have the leash. I put the lead on and I kind of guide her. Right now, she doesn't really know what it means too much, but I am just trying to let her know that there's some limitations to the howling, right? So again, I'm really sitting there training with her, really working with her and teaching her how to be in the crate, right? So a lot of times with new puppy owners, we can just put the puppy in the crate and let them cry it out, okay? And maybe it'll stop, maybe it won't stop. Okay, maybe it lasts 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe it doesn't. So if it doesn't, there's where I want to come in with the leash. I really don't want my puppy, screaming their head off for 15 minutes straight. Some dogs might do that, and then it'll roll over to them trying to get out of the crate, all right? And then obviously, that can lead to them sort of hurting themselves, messing up their nose, trying to trying to get at the bars and scratching and things like that, right? So when it comes to those type of behaviors where the dog is really, really fighting the crate, I'm gonna come in and use the leash to let him know not to do that, okay? Even at this young age, okay? Because I want to be able to set some rules very quickly, and I think it is something that they can understand. Obviously, I'm coming from a place of experience here, and they do understand it. They don't understand what is required of them. I'm just trying to check the escalation of the howling, right? So, and there's really no words behind any of that, okay, guys? So just put the leash on, a couple little tugs. You're just trying to give feedback here for the behavior that we're not wanting, right? So what we're wanting to develop in the crate is relaxation, how to settle, how to relax, how to be calm. So if they're not doing those things and it's escalating to the point where they're really fighting it, I would rather step in and give them some type of physical signal with the leash than to just try to let it go on, okay? So sometimes, you know, people, they live in condos or high rises, apartments, and they can't let the puppy just howl for 45 minutes. They can't, right? They're getting complaints. Neighbors are getting upset, things like that. So, you know, we're gonna have to address it head on. And I think that that's really the way that we address all of dog behaviors, is head on, okay? Because the lack of not addressing it is pretty much telling the dog it's okay to do, right? So this was our first little puppy session here, an explanation of some of the things I'm looking for. And like I said, next one we will start doing a little bit more luring, getting her to follow, maybe working on her name a little bit more. And yeah, we'll go from there. So she already peed right now. So look, even here, okay, we have a little bit of that pulling. Again, this is what I wanted to do the next session, but when the dog gives me this, I'm gonna have to work it really quickly. But now that, again, that she's gone potty, she had a little bit of water, we've done a little bit of work here, I'm gonna put her back in her crate. She's gonna relax, take a nap for a while. I won't take her out of the crate until she wakes up from the nap. Okay, so I'm gonna let her tell me that she needs to go out instead of me just sort of guessing here. She's doing a pretty good job of letting me know. So that's it for right now. Okay, that's it for now. Yay, good girl. Okay, come on.